Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I think somebody's iPhone is still.
Yeah, I think I may just remove, I think, because we have been challenged with this with even chanting too. I think it's okay. I'll just ask for forgiveness later.
Jai Jai. Today we are
Hare Krishna
reading from
Mataji.
today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 5, verse number 10, 11 and 12. यस्तवन्तकाले युक्तजटा कलाप स्वशूलसूची अर्पितदिग्गजेन्द्र वितत्य नृत्यति उदितस्त्रदोर्ध्वजान् उच्चत्तहासस्तनयित्नुभिन्नदिक्. Translation. At the time of dissolution, Lord Shiva's hair is scattered, and he pierces the rulers of the different directions with his trident. He laughs and dances proudly, scattering their hands like flags, as thunder scatters the clouds all over the world. Purport by His Divine Grace, Abhecharana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prashuti, who appreciated the power and strength of her son-in-law, Lord Shiva, is describing what he does at the time of dissolution. This description indicates that the strength of Lord Shiva is so great that Daksha's power could not be set in comparison to it. At the time of dissolution, Lord Shiva, with his trident in hand, dances over the rulers of the different planets, and his hair is scattered, just as the clouds are scattered over all directions in order to plunge the different planets into incessant torrents of rain. In the last phase of dissolution, all the planets become inundated with water, and the inundation is caused by the dancing of Lord Shiva. This dance is called the Pralaya dance or dance of dissolution. Prashuti could understand that the dangers ahead resulted not only for Daksha's having neglected her daughter, but also because of his neglecting the prestige and honor of Lord Shiva. Text 11. Amarsi त्वम् असय तेजसं मन्युप्लुतं दुर्निरीक्ष्यं भ्रुकुत्य करालदंष्ट्रभिरुदस्तभागनं स्यात् स्वस्ति किं कोपयता विधातु. Translation. The gigantic black man bared his fearful teeth. By the movement of his brows, he scattered the luminaries all over the sky, and he covered them with his strong, piercing effulgence. Because of the misbehavior of Daksha, even Lord Brahma, Daksha's father, could not have been saved from the great exhibition of anger. Text 12. Bhava evam udvigna drishoच्यमाने जनेन दक्षस्य मुहुर्महात्मना उत्पितुर उत्पाततामा सहस्रशो भयावहा divi bhumau cha praryak. Translation. While all the people talked amongst themselves, Daksha saw dangerous omens from all sides, from the earth and from the sky. Purport. In this verse, Daksha has been described as Mahatma. The word Mahatma has been commented upon by different commentators in various manners. Veera Raghava Acharya has indicated that this word Mahatma means steady in heart. This is to say that Daksha was so strong-hearted that even when his beloved daughter was prepared to lay down her life, he was steady and unshaken. But in spite of his being so strong-hearted, he was perturbed when he saw the various disturbances created by gigantic black demon. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that even if one is called Mahatma, a great soul, unless he exhibits the symptoms of a Mahatma, he should be considered a Duratma or a degraded soul. In Bhagavad Gita 9:13, the word Mahatma describes the pure devotee of the Lord. Mahatmanas tu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrita. A Mahatma is always under the guidance of the internal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, how could such a misbehaved person as Daksha be a Mahatma? A Mahatma is supposed to have all the good qualities of the demigods, and thus Daksha, lacking those qualities, could not be called a Mahatma. He should instead be called Duratma, a degraded soul. The word Mahatma to describe the qualification of Daksha is used sarcastically. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं वञ्चकल्पतरुश्च कृपासिन्धवे च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः yes. This dance is called Pralaya dance or dance of dissolution. Prashuti could understand that the dangers ahead resulted not only from Daksha's having neglected her daughter, but also because of neglecting the prestige and honor of Lord Shiva. So, um, like we can see over here, that Lord Shiva, like in the form of like Veerabhadra and in Rudra and all his associates, are going to just have create havoc. Yes, he's going to create havoc in the ceremony of Daksha. And we have seen till today that why that has caused it, right? Is because of the offense towards Sati. Now, if we really analyze the situation, it is because he offended, he did not behave properly and he did not follow the proper etiquette also. I remember Omapad Maharaj was mentioning that Vaishnava etiquette is very important. And this aspect of Vaishnava etiquette, who we are dealing with and how we should deal with. And that's why we, our acharyas, also spend a lot of time regarding this etiquette. Yes, that if what are the symptoms of a neophyte devotee, then what is the symptoms of a madhyama, what are the symptoms of a kanishta, and an uttama. Correct? Four, three, not four. So we need to know what is the ideal. Yes, and Bhagavatam, Dharma Projita Kaitavatra Nirmatsaranam Satam. Yes, Dharma Projita Kaitavatra, rejecting all cheating religions. This Srimad Bhagavatam is dealing with the highest truth. Now, what is the highest over here? That to create havoc in a place of worship, in a place of the sacrifice of Daksha. What is auspicious about this? But the Lord is teaching from all of this, and we need to take that into consideration. That all the pastimes of Bhagavatam are either teaching that there are different types of devotees, there are different types of modes of worship, and how we have to fine tune our bhakti. Yes, fine tune our bhakti. Bhagavatam is teaching pure unalloyed devotion to the Lord. Ahetuki apratiyata, nothing less. Yes, it does not stop anywhere. Like Dhruva Maharaj, it shows that in the mode of passion, yes, eventually Dhruva Maharaj gets the Lord and then he gives up everything. But that is highlighted by that pastime. And over here, Daksha in the mode of ignorance. Yes. Daksha, the ironical thing which Prabhupada mentions in the 12th verse is that he is described as a Mahatma, but it has been used sarcastically. Yes, we wouldn't have ever known this, that it is being used sarcastically. Yes, from external point of view, this Mahatma, is doing great sacrifices. He's doing great austerities. He has, he's doing the order of his father, following the orders of his father. And this is what is being taught to all of us since our childhood. Yes, not to talk back to elders, to have respect, to have this, to have that. You should talk like this, you should not talk like that. Yes, all these aspects, yes, are being taught to us. And very beautifully in Madhurya Kadambini, which Mataji and Prabhuji are taking, it is like fine tuning what the anarthas are by piety also. Yes, that aspect was there, and Mataji always has done it twice, I think now. Unsteady bhakti, and then Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, Anishtita Bhajana Kriya. Yes, Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, where we have all these aspects. And what does it mean to be Anishtha? Is that we have total faith in bhakti and nothing else. Yes, it's because of bhakti. Yes, it's because of bhakti that I can make progress. It's not because I am a good person. It's not because I'm a so-called Mahatma like over here. By doing so much charity, by doing so many austerities, that we are going to have um, bhakti and we can impress the Lord. Yes. I was reading somewhere there are three types of siddhas. Siddhas. Yes. There is sadhana siddha, there is archana siddha, and there is kripa siddha. Yes. And this was the first time I was reading it. That's why I'm sharing. And it was amazing that I didn't know this till today. Sadhana Siddha means a person who impresses the Lord by his own sadhana. Yes, where we have chanting and doing austerities and all that. Archana Siddha is a person who does by deity worship, who impresses the Lord. And third one is Kripa Siddha, by prayers and by begging for mercy, he pleases the Lord and impresses the Lord. In our movement, Prabhupada is so kind and compassionate and very beautifully given us all of these three packed in one big chunk, that anyhow you come in contact to any of the devotees and any of the disciples or any of the devotees of ISKCON or any of the temples, we have all of these three. We take the help of all of these. Yes, like we have sadhana, we have our rounds, we have our rules and regulations, then we have our deity worship. Yes, full on like focusing on festivals, coming to the temple, association with devotees, and obviously prayers. Yes, we are being taught. We read slokas, we understand slokas. When we offer prayers also, like Vancha Kalpatarvesha Kripasindhavesha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo, praying to the devotees, that by their mercy only, yes, all desires can be fulfilled. The whole point comes down to our faith. Yes, Mataji was explaining what is the faith. Nishtha means that we have faith in the process of bhakti. It's by bhakti only that all my anarthas are going to go away. It is by the Lord's mercy. It's not because of me, I'm something great, I am a Mahatma. No. So over here, because Daksha had become proud of his position, yes, his head was removed. And in the end, we know that it is being going to be kept by the head of a goat. So that every day when he looked into the mirror, he knew that what he did was wrong. So we do not know who is who. That this is where the problem comes in Daksha's pastime, is that he, even though, because he was looking at Lord Shiva externally, very difficult to not do fault finding. Very difficult. Very difficult. It's like let's Prabhu, let's be practical for this purpose and that purpose. I need to, highlight this point and need to tell people that this and that and this and that. Maharaj was explaining that the austerity, the austerity of not finding faults and seeing the good is so great that if you've gone to Gomukha, maybe Gangotri and, Yamunotri and the great glaciers of the Himalayas, and Gomukh is much further than that. It's harder to take a dip. It's easier to take a dip, hundreds and millions of times easier to take a dip in Gomukh than actually tolerate and say good about the person who you have found out false. Yes, because it is a nature, a by default nature of the conditioned soul to be envious. Yes. And the most interesting thing of envy is that I was talking to someone and we were discussing this point of envy. It's that when we are envious of somebody, right? Like somebody like does nice preaching, or he talks nicely, or he sings nicely, or he plays the instrument nicely, or he cooks nicely, he or she cooks nicely, everything, or keeps the house nice, blah 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 blah. You know, whatever it is, he knows shlokas, more shlokas than I know, and jealousy is another thing, and envy is another thing. Okay, but let's focus on envy. It's that we want that person to suffer. Yes, to bring him down. Now, when I used to hear these lectures of Maharaj, I used to think that what is this? It's like, why would somebody, if somebody is doing nice preaching, nice, all of this stuff, why would anybody be envious of this person? And Maharaj gave a very nice example. It's that when we are dealing with somebody in our own field, then that envy shows up. Yes, till then that time it doesn't show up. Then we are appreciating very nicely. It's like I don't have a problem with Ambani or Rockefeller. Why? Because he doesn't care and I couldn't give a rat's rear. Yes, it doesn't matter to me at all. Yes, that's why there's no envy. But if I'm the second most richest person on the planet, and he's the first, I'm like, oh Lord, Prabhu, only this much. I just want to be first for some years, and then I'll be happy. Yes. So Maharaj was saying that envy comes in our own field, and why is that? Yes. And we were analyzing this point that it's because if we actually believe Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarva Lokam Maheshwar, and is actually coming from Krishna, yes, even though we see Krishna as the supreme controller and he's God and he's our best friend and everything, but if you're dealing with a person who's very close to you and that person is much more beautiful than you, he's having all the good fortune. Everybody's focusing on him, you know, whether it is Janmashtami or not Janmashtami. The focus is Krishna. Yes. And if you start seeing Krishna as a person, not just as God, then why is Krishna getting nice food stuff? Why is he sitting in amongst all these thousands and thousands of gopas and everybody is trying to be close to Krishna? And nobody's trying to be close to me. The nature of this world is to be naturally the proprietor and the enjoyer of this world. And that's why we are here. Yes, a person was like I've mentioned this before. A person was telling me, a very nice person, Mahatma, sarcastically, that this person was telling me that, what? I've never been jealous of anyone. Yes. And it for devotees, if a devotee actually hears this, oh, then this person might be, a real Mahatma. He's a real great devotee of the Lord. But ironically speaking, this was one of my colleagues, and he didn't even chant one round. Okay. So some might say that, what is this, Prabhu? You cannot just say this. Yeah, somebody might be not envious and not practice bhakti at the same time. But what does Prabhupada say over here? Prabhupada say, he's like, a Mahatma is supposed to have good qualities of the demigods. Yes. And who are the demigods? They're devotees of the Lord. And it can be in any shape and form, not only, in ISKCON, but yes, any form of, spiritual path. They are humble. They accept God as supreme authority. But this guy wasn't like that. Yes, okay. So then I was like, oh, he's never jealous. And I'm like, I've been trained to see myself that you're the most downtrodden person, you know. You see yourself as the most envious person. And it is true. And I've seen it, but this guy is saying that he's not. How is that possible? And then after 2 days, after 3 days, I was watching. And then after a few weeks, I saw that, you know, this person actually criticizes each and every person over here. And why is he talking about this person? He doesn't even deal. It is not he's talking about this, he's talking about how this person has been dressing, how this person has been walking, and why did he say this? He should have shut up. Let the other person do something. Why is this lady talking like this? She's such an idiot. And then it became very clear in the mind. And then I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now it's making all the sense. It's like, why is he saying he's not jealous? It's because he's not seeing that is actually envious. And that's why the criticism is coming because of his enmity towards that person. See, if you're not envious or if you're not actually having hard feelings for somebody, it's very easy to not think about that person in a negative way. You will just focus on, hey, it's fine, it's indifferent. It's like, yeah, okay, he did this, okay, big deal, move on. But no, if you are actually, and you want to bring down that person, you are going to find faults. Yes, we are going to find faults. And discrimination is important. There is difference between fault finding and there is difference between discrimination as a devotee. Yes, discrimination means no, 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 this is not good for my bhakti. I don't want to do this. Other devotees are okay, let them do, but this we cannot tell and we cannot preach. I should not do this. And if I am an authority or somebody is an authority, then yes, they can say about it. Yes, that is discrimination. But just fault finding for the sake of nourishing our heart, and that is where we find the most pleasure. Gossip, Prajalpa, very hard to give up, very hard to give up, very hard to not even do that during vratas, when it's Janmashtami or other festival. Very hard. The austerity is greater than actually taking a dip in Gormukha. So that's why Daksha has come to this point today is because of all of this. And that's why we have to be very careful on whom and what we are looking at. And that's why association of devotees actually makes us realize this and makes us realize that no, 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 this is not good. Yes. So we'll stop over here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada